Greetings, class. This is Dr. Ogilvy. This video is intended to supplement the first bulletin of the course. Now, for the rest of the course, the first page you come to are going to be the course bulletins. I'm about ready to post a new bulletin. It's not there yet. But when you next visit the course website, instead of seeing the course check-in page and get started page, you're going to see the course bulletin. And we number the bulletins 1, 2, 3. Usually there's anywhere from 7 or 8 to 12 bulletins in each course. Just some housekeeping points first. The course check-in and get started page. There are a number of students, not too many, that have actually, all but 2 in the class have marked this page reviewed. So that's one of the conditions to continue in the course and see the module folders and the quiz folders. Now, but more have not completed the, reviewed the email messages, question marks page, where you need to click reviewed here. I'm actually in here as my student account, so I click that and have a check mark there. So when you do that, that means that you say that you're receiving the emails we send out from Blackboard to the entire class. Those that you have not done that, and there are 24 out of 68 enrolled currently that have not done this, please do that now. And then the other thing are the sample quizzes, and I'll just mention those. They're, of course, hopefully you know where they're located. You go to quiz and exam information, and then you open up the folder sample tests, and then you have to take both of these quizzes, and we have unlimited attempts, but you must make a perfect score. The class is doing pretty well with those because everybody in the class out of 68 enrolled, but 10 have made a perfect score on both of these quizzes, which means that if you have checked the course check-in page and you've taken the syllabus quiz, and almost everybody has taken the syllabus quiz now, and you meet those, then you'll be able to see in the, and I'm going to go to the course module folders now, you'll be able to see all these folders that contain the content, the lectures, guides, etc. for proceeding in the course. Now, for each module, you can go in advance and see the learning outcomes for a module and the activities in there, but you won't see the lectures until that module begins. So that's the way we pace you in the course, you see, and also the module quiz is not going to show up there yet. That is the graded practice quiz. And then under the module quizzes, you will not see the quiz for module 2 or module 4, 3 or 5, or the midterm and the final until those dates come about. So once you've satisfied all those requirements, you can get involved in the course and kind of get into the rhythm of study. Now, you can read in the bulletin what we've said about the course rhythm or the logic of approaching this course, but I'm going to run through that fairly quickly. The first thing you should do is go back and read the syllabus on pages 6 and 7, where in pages 6 and 7 you'll see, well, what is the nature of the course and the concepts you'll learn. I think it's very important to read through this early in the course and perhaps go back to that very short text a number of times so that you keep the big picture in mind. And then once you've done that, and it gives you a pretty nice overview of the course, then and then in order to get oriented in the lab manual that you purchased, read especially the preface and Unit 1, Laboratory Exercise Plan, WebMic. I just refer you to the bulletin on that. Just get familiar with WebMic and the lab manual that goes along with it. Now, we have provided an orientation to WebMic. So be sure to watch this video. Don't shortcut these things. Make sure you take time. And we do provide the first 4 units of the laboratory exercises if you have some complication to purchase it. But you should purchase the lab manual because you're going to need it for the rest of the course. And then we do provide a video that shows you the relationship between the lab manual, the histology laboratory exercises, and WebMic. So be sure to watch that video to get yourself oriented. And then for BioLucida, assuming by now most of the class has installed BioLucida Viewer and that you have gone to set about establishing the 2 clouds so that you can view those specimens. So that you have this connected to histology lab is histology lab specimens, and in module 1 you have 8 specimens to view, and each specimen has some minimal annotations that you can follow to help you understand the specimen. Okay, so for each module there are a collection of BioLucida specimens, and so get familiar with that. And also in the module folders, let's go to module 1 folder. You will find in that folder, below the lecture folder that contains all the lectures, you will find a folder that has BioLucida Lab specimen videos. So you open that. For each module, we have made an overview of the 8 specimens for module 1, and then we've made individual videos of each of those specimens. Now, we don't exhaustively annotate these specimens, but because you need to use those in order to try to apply what you've learned with WebMic. It's not a matter of going there and memorizing what we put down for you, as you will probably do in WebMic, but remember that you are learning the features, the diagnostic features. So no matter where you might see a new specimen, if that specimen is the same material that you have learned, you should be able to recognize by using the criteria or the diagnostic features of that specimen. So it's important that you know about these videos. I just want to make sure that you don't lose track of those. Okay, so now back to Module 1. You have, in Module 1, you've got the learning outcomes for that module. I suggest you go through those for each of the units, lectures in that module in the lab. You can see what you're expected to learn. And the table where you see each lecture and how long it takes to go through each lecture and the estimated time for completing each of the 3 labs in module 1. And then of course the lectures. So we recommend that you download the PDF of the slides and have them on your computer, or print that PDF out so that you have it before you, and then watch the lecture and pause it if necessary to understand, or even go back and repeat a slide so that you understand what we're talking about and try to take some notes, because you can bring those notes to a quiz or exam in the course. Of course, we make a qualifying statement about that because each quiz and exam is timed, and you can't spend a lot of time looking up material that you're unsure of, or you will run out of time on the quiz or exam. Now, in this first module, that is not in the module folder, but in the top level of the course modules menu link, we provide a PDF of all the lectures in the course. Now, in every module, you're going to see a link to the narrated lecture, and you're going to see the PDF right there to download each one. But we thought it was a good idea to give you not only each lecture PDF here. So if you want to jump ahead, if you're curious about something, you may want to go ahead and download all of these and have them in folders on your computer, because you can keep these. These are yours to have. But we also have extracted out of that the topics for each lecture. And the average number of topics in each lecture is 8.8. And the average minutes per topic over the course is 3.4 minutes. So each lecture is divided into topics, and so you can consider each lecture as delivered in chunks. You can watch all the chunks continuous, or you can watch them one at a time. When you go back to review, you can go back to any part of each lecture because they are hyperlinked in the topic slide of each lecture. So the time to listen to all 32 lectures is actually 15.6 hours. And the total number of topics presented in the course is 281, and the average is 8.8 topics per lecture. So that should give you a pretty good idea and hopefully convince you that you have plenty of time for review, and review. So here are the topics for the introduction lecture and for all the lectures in the course. So you can just look ahead and see what you are going to study. So now let's go back into Module 1. In Module 1, you see the table, and that same table can be accessed also in the syllabus and schedule, where the course schedule and assignments PDF, beginning on the third page, shows you exactly in stepwise the assignments for each of these modules. So pay close attention to that document. But we also repeat this table in each module folder on the course website. But this document is very important. You should have this before you when you study and approach each module in the course. Okay, so I'm going to go back again to the course modules, and I'm going to open Module 1. And now we're familiar with the table. You know where to go to get the detailed list of assignments, as well as this table in the course assignment schedule. You now know where to access the lectures. And be sure to listen and watch the video lectures. You may think you can learn just by the PDFs, but you will hear pronunciation, you will hear emphasis, and there are some links in each of the slides, some of the slides that will take you elsewhere. And be sure to watch these Biolucid Lab specimen videos. This is a helpful chart that will help you, and be sure to take these graded lecture and lab quizzes well before the deadline of each one. In this particular case, the first one deadline is 8 a.m. this coming Monday, January the 28th. And then I think the following Thursday is when the first module quiz deadline is. So pay attention to the course schedule. Don't try to assume anything. Make sure all those deadlines, because we always put the deadline for the graded practice quizzes a few days before each of the module quizzes are due, because we want you to complete those. Those are what we call formative assessment quizzes. They are forming your learning, and they are at the same time assessing, and you can earn some points. And it's relatively easy to earn up to 20 points because you get 3 attempts to take these quizzes, and we keep the highest score. But for the module quiz, you only have one, and this is a direct link. If you click on this, it will take you to the graded quizzes and exams folder, and then you're directly right there taking module quiz part A and part B. Okay, so I'm going to pause this for a minute while I regroup my thoughts. So in summary, the rhythm of study in each module is to, for Module 1, is get familiar with the resources, Biolucid, the WebMic, and the lab manual. And in this case, after you do that for each module, you're going to be studying topics like lecture number 1. We don't number the introductory lecture, but lecture number 1 is tissue preparation for microscopy. Go through that video, go through the PDF, and then go to WebMic, go through all of the specimens that are assigned in WebMic, study them carefully, and then go to BioLucida and study those specimens. And actually, it's probably best if you go through each one of these topics before you actually go to the BioLucida lab specimens, because those specimens will have access to almost all the tissues you're learning in Module 1, and the same thing will be true of the other modules. So the rhythm of the course is view and watch the video lecture while you're looking at the PDF. Go to WebMic, laboratory manual, go through that, viewing the specimens, viewing the explanation of the specimens, making any notes that you think are important, and then finally going to the BioLucida and viewing those lab specimens and try to identify structures that you have learned about in WebMic. And then the last part of that rhythm is going to outside resources. So I suggest that you review the, well, you can review the glossy of terms, that's and look up anything there, that would be helpful. But most important is to go through this page of virtual slide exploration. And we have actually put some links to very good resources here that you can supplement to reinforce what you're learning. And then we have histology on the internet, where we've given some resources. You can go out beyond that. You probably don't have time to do all those, but at least visit all these things one time early in the course so you can get an idea of what's out there. And then last but not least, and I'll demonstrate this in a moment, I'm going to pause this to get ready. Take advantage of the internet brain, Google, Bing, whatever search engine you might want to use. I'm just going to go to Google. And then down here, I'm going to put in the search window something, a cell type. You're going to learn a lot of different cell types in connective tissue. One of them is a fibroblast. So I search on fibroblasts, and all of a sudden I have a quick definition of fibroblasts. And I also have a Wikipedia on the fibroblast. And if I click on images up here, I have lots of images of fibroblasts, including some histological sections of fibroblasts. So there's a fibroblast right there with a long nucleus and the cell outside of pink collagen fibers. Most anything in the course I can type in up here. Let's say plasma cell. Click on that. I have a definition of a plasma cell. I have a Wikipedia plasma cell. Even down here, here's a pretty good image of plasma cells. Okay, so this is a way to expand your knowledge, reinforce it, and only you can judge how much time you have to do this. But I do recommend that you put your feet in this water just a little bit, because it will pay off. Okay, I hope that gets you started in the course, along with reading through the first bulletin that we have posted. And good luck. Dr. Sawyer and myself, and also especially Mr. Anthony Davis, you will meet him often on the discussion board. I'm going to go back to the course website, and I'm going to go to the discussion board since I mentioned that. Please do not hesitate to post on the discussion board questions about anything, but especially when you get to the lectures, the lecture content, if you have any question about anything. And then for every one of the quizzes, the graded practice quizzes, module quizzes, midterm exam, we have a forum for that. And while for the module quizzes and the midterm final, we don't give you the correct answer if you didn't get it correct. We want you to work for the correct answer. That's the best way to learn. So just be brave and bold and outgoing, and realize that to learn, you must ask questions, and you must not be intimidated by thinking you asking a dumb question. There really are no dumb questions if you are sincere and want to learn. It's us that we're challenged in order to answer your question in such a way that you learn. So please don't hesitate to put yourself out there and realize that the questions you ask and the answers we give will also help somebody else. So good luck, and I trust you will learn some histology this semester.